At number 4 is Florida, who actually had the third highest graded offensive line in the Power 4 last year with an 85.9 PFF grade, and they brought back 5 of the 6 players who played at least 300 snaps on that offensive line last year. Jake Slaughter is the best of the bunch on that list right there. My number 1 interior offensive lineman in college football. He was the only Power 4 center who had an 80-plus grade as both a pass blocker and as a run blocker last year. I mentioned it time and time again. He played a murderer's row of defensive tackles on that schedule for Florida. So the fact he went up against elite competition and still dominated out there, I thought Jake Slaughter should have won the Remington Award last year as the best center in college football. He's pretty easily the best center in college football entering next year, in my opinion. Then you also have left tackle Austin Barber, who's actually been mocked a lot in a lot of way too early 2026 NFL mock drafts as well in the first round there. He only had 5 pressures allowed on 107 true pass sets last year. At guard will once again be Najee Harris and Damian George Jr., who each tied for 6th in the SEC with an identical 72.4 run blocking grade. And then redshirt sophomore Bryce Lovett will be the new starting right tackle, but he did tie for 7th among SEC guards last year with a 73.3 PFF grade on 362 snaps. So one of the best offensive lines in the country last year, Dalton. They brought back pretty much everyone from that offensive line.
I think there's some who would argue that the Gators even higher on this list, considering the experience and the talent that they're bringing back. You mentioned it with Jake Slaughter as the glue of it all. I knew we weren't getting through this episode without some rant about Jake Slaughter. I already knew that's going to be a weekly thing from you for the rest of the season. But no, this is a fantastic group. And you talk about another one, a young quarterback, trying to make him comfortable in DJ Lagway, trying to make Jaden Baugh, a young running back, comfortable in the backfield. I think when you have an offensive line like this, it makes your life so much easier to call plays with a young quarterback and just allow him to just make the throws because you're going to be protected. And Slaughter especially, it just feels like when I was watching his tape, just doesn't make any mistakes. You don't see any mental mistakes. If he gets beat, which isn't very often, but he doesn't make any mental mistakes. And when you have a center like that leading the rest of this group, you're in a really good spot up front.
Yeah, especially for a quarterback, a young quarterback, DJ Lagway, having a great center like Jake Slaughter to call protections for you just takes a lot off your plate as a young quarterback, honestly. So, yeah, you got Jake Slaughter, who I think could be a first-round pick at center, which is saying a lot concerning centers don't really go in the first round. And then also Austin Barber at left tackle. A lot of people think could be a first-round pick at left tackle. Plus, both your guards are coming back for another year. And then plus your right tackle, Bryce Lovett, did play over 300 snaps last year for you at guard. So one of the best offensive lines last year should be, again, one of the best offensive lines in 2025. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.